Have you fallen down the cottage industry rabbit hole yet? Well, if not, buckle up, Alice, and click on over to the description in the show notes and sign up. Then you can get ready for the most fun induction into the cult of all things yarn and fiber. This will include, but not limited to, free yarn, free ebooks, patterns, coupons, and much more. You don't want to miss out.
You are listening to Crime, Coffee, and Crafts, a podcast featuring two crafty besties who love true crime and a good cup of joe.
Hey, amateur sleuths. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Heidi.
And that one is Heidi.
Yes, hopefully our faces were frozen in stupid positions because that is fun. That's what's happening today.
Heidi loves that. And
It's
here
so
we
fun.
are. Yep.
I look like the Joker and
I look crazy.
Kristen has a cool mug.
I do. I'm going to wear it out too. I'm just going to drink. I've been drinking out of it.
I think I need to
the last 2 days.
Accidentally break a shit ton of my mugs and buy new ones.
Well, I'm super excited because I was able to buy a bunch of our own merch.
I know.
I can't wait to have it. And it's in perfect time, hopefully, for my romantic getaway weekend.
Ooh, what?
Yeah.
Do tell.
We are going to take a trip to Charleston.
Oh.
In a couple weeks. I'm super excited. And I'll have my new tote bag.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll have my hats.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Just sport in the podcast.
Next weekend?
No, it's the one we're supposed to record on.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, I realized that yesterday.
Yeah, we've got some work to do.
Luckily, this one is our part deux.
Yeah, and so we just...
And then your episode.
And we're covered, right?
I think so, but I'll still work on one this week.
Still need one for you. After mine.
Well, yeah.
That's all.
I'm going to work on one this week.
Yeah.
Because we just keep pumping them out.
Let's just do it.
Push it out.
Get her done.
Yeah. So here we are. Part deux.
Part deux.
Of William Burke and William Hare. The Body Snatchers.
Word.
Yeah.
But before that, we've got one more.
You got another underrepresented missing person.
Yes. 71-year-old Louis G. Selam. It's Selam. He goes by Louis. He would be 72 now. He's missing from Warm Springs, Oregon.
No.
He is American Indian, Alaska Native. He does have tribal enrollment with Confederated Tribes of the Warm Springs Reservation of Oregon. 6 feet tall, 210 pounds. He looks like a lovely man. He has a really cool hat on in his picture.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I noticed that. He just looks like a nice man.
Yeah.
He was last seen on March 16th, 2022 at Warm Springs Tribal Credit Enterprise. His car,
almost a year now.
Yeah, his car was located at Peter's Pasture, stuck in the snow at the intersection of P500 and P200 roads on the Warm Springs Reservation. So, as we know, when reservation and non-reservation law enforcement interact, it hasn't always been good in the past.
Right.
But y'all,
Communication is
let's start
hard for
pushing.
everybody.
Yeah, that's starting to change, but we really need to start putting the pressure on everybody to make it happen.
Yeah.
Hair color is white, medium length, thinning hair, and usually in a ponytail.
Did he have any cognitive function issues?
Not from what I'm seeing.
So maybe it's just got caught in the snow.
Maybe. He does have a killer mustache. So there's that. Wears reading glasses when needed. Brown eyes. He does have a tattoo of an L on his left hand. So maybe he did have some kind of something cognitive. I don't know.
Like dementia or Alzheimer's. Maybe he wandered off.
Yeah. After a fall, he could no longer put right hand fingers placed together. I don't really know if there's more to this story.
Maybe he has a TBI.
Something. Noticeable large bump on front center of neck, dark dry spot on top of head, spots or scars on his legs, and a bump on the bottom of his foot. He typically wears a ball cap.
Yeah.
Typically wears a ball cap, but his hat was actually found inside his car. Last seen wearing a gray Adidas sweatshirt with 3 black stripes and new blue jean pants, and he's known to wear boots. We do have his car information, but his car was actually found, so that's not going to help.
Right. He's not like taken off in it. Anywhere.
Exactly.
He was missing from it.
Yeah. So if you know anything about Louis G. Salem, look in the show notes and you can find the link directly to his case on NamUs, and you can find who to contact on there. It is the Warm Springs Police Department. So, yeah.
Okay.
Boo. All right. I'm ready for
someone knows something.
Ready for part 2.
Part 2.
Body snatches.
Body snatches. Mr. Burke and Mr. Hare. Oh. We didn't really talk much about them in the first episode. I was mostly talking about the history of the time and the different codes and acts that just kind of the bloody
weird shit.
The bloody history.
Real weird.
To segue into the more infamous known case of serial killers for anatomy murder.
Yes.
So Burke and Hare came to England, Edinburgh. What did I just say? Oh my gosh, Scotland, not whatever I said.
England and then Edinburgh. Edinburgh.
It's Scotland.
Yeah.
Edinburgh.
Sorry.
Berg.
You gotta say Edinburgh. That's how it's said. I'll say
Edinburgh.
Yeah, it's Edinburgh.
Okay. Heidi's gonna say it for you because words are hard. Words are hard for me. But they went there to work on the Union Canal.
All right.
They were from Northern Ireland.
Fuckers.
Yeah. Burke left his wife and 2 children. He had 2 children behind. He abandoned them to go work on the Union Canal and go to a different country and just. There's nothing said really about his old family.
Wow.
He just took off and left them. So a number 1 shitbag.
Yeah, seriously.
Not much is known about Hare before the duo met either, but they met and became fast friends when Burke moved in with his mistress, Helen McDougall.
Mm-hmm.
They met at the Tanner's Close lodgings. Hare lived on the same street and was running his own lodgings for rent with a widower named Margaret Laird, and he had been living with her they had been living as husband and wife. And although they were not married, she went by the name Margaret Hare. So both of them were shacking up with other women's, and they did not marry them.
Okay.
I don't know why. Like, if Mr. Hare was living with this woman, I don't know what was wrong back in the day. Maybe widowers couldn't remarry, and they just had to be.
Well, it looked bad. Once you're married for forever. Doesn't matter if they die.
Well,
you know.
So that's probably our answer. She and William lived together. They lived as husband and wife.
Times were different.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the history of Burke and Hare before the murders. And in 1827, the duo got their first taste for cadaver profit.
Yikes.
Yeah. Hare had a tenant they called Old Donald. It's quite a name.
Okay.
He was an elderly army vet. And unfortunately for him, he died of natural causes. Luckily, he wasn't murdered by the duo.
Yeah.
But Hare was not upset that he died. He was upset that he died before paying his £4 debt for renting the room.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So, to make back his money, he enlisted his buddy Burke to help him retrieve the body out of the casket and fill the casket with tanning bark before the funeral. So it was still heavy enough to make them think there was a body in there.
Mm-hmm.
They took the old man's body to the medical school at Edinburgh University.
That was perfect. Nailed it.
And sold the body to Dr. Professor Robert Knox.
Oh, that is
very
fancy.
Ominous and fancy. He was the anatomy professor at the university.
Okay.
So he was in charge of the medical school.
I was just thinking about taking an anatomy class back then would have been very different.
Very, very different than now, for sure.
I have to envision when I'm teaching Pilates, this is how my brain functions when I'm teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I envision the skeleton inside the body.
Yes.
To make sure everything is aligned. It's so weird.
Around.
But that's how you have to do it.
Yeah. So Dr. Knox gave them £7 10 shillings for old Donald.
£7.
He kind of made twice the money in rent, you know.
That's true,
almost £8.
But seriously.
I don't know. Was it worth it? I don't know.
Maybe.
Apparently it was to them.
I guess. Murders, that's where they're going next. So
yeah. At the beginning of 1828, the duo saw how easy it was to steal and sell cadavers. So they saw a new opportunity when a tenant named Joseph became incredibly sick.
Of course.
But instead of the duo waiting for him to die of natural causes, they grew too impatient and decided to kill him themselves.
Okay. What a fucking... Wow.
Yeah. They were like, we need our money now. We can't wait around for him just to die on his own.
Yeah, and then they just get a new renter.
Right. So the duo drank whiskey with the sick dude and got him very drunk. And it wasn't hard, since he was already sick, to make him lethargic enough to restrain him with no fight. Right. And so they forcibly restrained the man and suffocated him by covering his mouth and nose till he stopped breathing. So, yeah.
That sounds like a Big Brother thing. Johnny. Talking to you, Johnny.
Well,
I didn't
they
die.
thought, I'm glad. They thought that this was the best way to kill him, as it would leave no marks or wounds and would give a cleaner cadaver for the medical student to perform their studies. Now, obviously, what we know of being suffocated like that, if you're holding anybody down, there's going to be bruises.
Yeah.
But
And the
I think
struggle.
they found that, I guess being stabbed or all that would,
Be too obvious.
too obvious. Yeah. So this way, with the lethargy and suffocation, they could just stop breathing and hand over pretty clean cadavers.
Right.
Yeah. But unfortunately for the duo, they didn't have any more sick tenants. Unfortunately for the community, they didn't have any more sick patients.
Yeah. Jeez.
Because they just started to go to the streets.
Yikes.
Yeah. They would ask beggars and the poorest of the town if they'd like a place to stay for the night.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Tale as old as time, literally.
Right? It's like so many serial killers, they looked for the more vulnerable populations and those that wouldn't be missed.
They're easy targets.
Yeah. They killed approximately 16 people in this way, and the bodies got them about 7 to 10 pounds apiece. Now, the total number of bodies and or the money is probably higher.
Yeah.
But during the span of murders, the duo kept getting greedier and greedier, and it led to carelessness and mistakes.
Of course it did. Greedy sons of bitches.
Greed is never wanting more than what you have, and just being appreciative of what you have gets you into trouble every time. I hear the puppy doggers.
Yep. They're going off. Somebody's probably here. It's okay.
It's okay.
I have another funny story, actually. I'm so sorry that I've got funny stories.
Segue.
I was teaching class the other day on Zoom, and Dwight got home from lunch with Golda, and the dogs did their howling thing. And it was so freaking loud that the recording of class that went to my clients who can't make it at the time that I teach.
Yes.
One of my clients texted me a video of her dogs howling
going off
at the Zoom video.
Oh,
so cute.
Oh,
she's got little dachshund cuties. So
I got to see Sasha yesterday. My brother Nathaniel's dog.
Oh, she's so cute. Oh.
Yeah, he came down for a visit and he's making cabinets for his place. So it was nice to see him, but always nice to see Sasha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though she wants to kill my cats.
I'll go scream at the dogs in a second. Nope. All right. Carry on. Gosh. Oh my gosh. Sadie.
So carelessness and mistakes led to, there was an elderly woman that was killed with an overdose of pain meds. She was there with her grandson. I don't know how old he was, but they said he was a younger age. I don't know if it was a child or if it was a young adult or something.
Right.
But Hare ended up murdering him, and he was blind.
Oh my God.
And he took him and broke his back over his knee, like if you were to break a stick.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Sounds awful.
These,
so
that's just extra.
We had a body with an overdose of medication, and then you have, coupled with that, a grandson of the woman having his back broken.
Yeah.
And then we go yeah, it's just, that's a terrible way to die. Anyways, there were also a couple prostitutes murdered, and the medical students recognized them.
Oh,
So they weren't choosing wisely.
No, they weren't.
Yeah. And even further gossip started about these cadavers' deaths
Okay.
and who had brought them in, and gave notice to the duo as possibly murdering these individuals. So the students started like talking a lot, and then it got out into the world. It got worse when a famous for the town child entertainer who also had a handicap his name was James Wilson, and his body was brought in for medical science. He was known in the city and nicknamed Daft Jamie. So people recognized him,
Yeah.
you know. So now we're just going and finding all these people that are popular in the town. That's careless. That's not. Dr. Knox told his students to not say anything about the cadaver's identity, and to make sure the Mr. Wilson was not identified and was concealed, he decapitated him and took his deformed foot and lopped it off. So
that's just shady.
Took away the parts. Right. So as you can see, Dr. Knox is like into these bodies coming to him for, you know, like,
yeah,
he knew his person that was bringing the bodies was clearly murdering them.
and he didn't give a shit.
No, didn't seem to. So to make matters worse with the carelessness of killing people not by suffocation, and then choosing people that were well recognized in the town.
Right.
Burke and Hare were also at odds. They started because of the greed.
Yeah.
Burke believed Hare was killing and selling cadavers on his own and pocketing the moolah without Burke.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So now we're going to have this, you know, back and forth problem with, you know, well, you killed this person and made money and you didn't involve.
You didn't share it.
You didn't share.
Wow.
So Burke and his lady started to take in their own victims.
Oh, fuck.
And the duo were doing dealings behind each other's backs. But they did come together one last time. They had one last victim together. And Halloween 1828 served to be their last anatomy murder. Another couple that was staying at the boarding house they came back to, you know, go to bed, and
right.
They were denied access to a part of the lodging house. It was a spare room in the home, so they got kind of suspicious. And because they weren't allowed to go to that part of the house, once they were left alone, they snuck into the room and found the body of a prostitute named Marjorie.
Okay.
The Burke's girlfriend, Helen? I don't remember. I'd have to look back. Anyways, Helen tried to bribe this couple with 10 pounds a week. How are they going to do 10 pounds a week when they're only getting 10 pounds a bot? Like,
yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. You're clearly making them. You're going to make them go away if they take your deal.
Yeah,
you don't have that much money. So she tried to keep them from telling the police and going to report what they found. Mm-hmm. But luckily they did not take her bribe, and good. They went to the police.
Good.
Right. So, but by the time the police got to the boarding house, the duo had taken the body to Dr. Knox. So they still sold the prostitute.
Okay.
But the police were good and they arrested everyone anyway.
Good.
So they arrested Burke, Hare, Margaret, and Helen.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, they all turned on each other and had differing stories and, blamed the other one.
Of course.
The investigation into this mystery did lead investigators to Dr. Knox.
I was wondering if they were going to figure that out.
Yes. So they found that Dr. Knox was involved somehow. And they brought Mr. Gray, who was the man and woman duo who reported the prostitute. They brought him to the lecture hall where Dr. Knox was working on a body.
Okay.
Mr. Gray identified that body as Marjorie, the dead person from the boarding house.
Oh my.
Yeah. So Dr. Knox was actually doing his class with the body that had just been killed. So the investigation, even though they had that information and that identification, they still had little evidence.
Right.
So what they call, I don't know if it's a judge, probably is, the Lord Advocate. I should have looked that up. Who
Sounds
a Lord
like a
Advocate
judge.
is. It does. His name was Sir William Ray. He proposed immunity to Hare if he turned on Burke. So I guess they were like, we need to get at least one of them. So which one can we turn? And Hare turned on Burke and spilled his guts about the whole affair. Said that Burke and Helen were the perpetrators. So trial started Christmas Eve of 1828.
I mean,
and the next, we got a lot of dates here. The Valentine's Day, 1945 is when the movie came out. Then you have Halloween as the last murder, Christmas for the trial.
Yeah.
It's just got
crazy
multiple dates in here. The next day, Burke and Helen were charged with Marjorie's death and the murder of James Wilson, the child entertainer, and another prostitute named Mary Patterson was charged to Burke as well. So Helen only was there on charges for Marjorie's death.
Okay.
The entertainer and the other prostitute were also for Burke. But Helen, lucky for her, was set free due to the courts not being able to prove her guilty. So her involvement, she was let go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But unfortunately for Burke, he was sentenced to death by hanging.
I mean, I agree with that one.
Yeah, but it seems as though Hare was more the...
Yeah, I feel like they should have turned one of the women.
Right? Like, I think that one of the ladies would have been a better choice, because then both of them could have been...
Yes, and when we get to my next case, you'll kind of see why I say that, actually. Yeah.
I like a little teaser.
Yeah. It's fun.
So, although we can clearly see that Hare was complicit in all affairs of murder and black market cadaver sales,
so gross.
He was released in February of 1829. He ran to England, and there are only rumors about how he lived the rest of his life. Some say he was beaten by an angry mob and left to live as a blind beggar, but nobody really knows. He just disappeared.
One would hope that that's what happened to him.
Yeah, a lot of what I read said that angry mobs got to him and he became blind, and cops stepped in to have his escape or whatever.
That just reminded me of like Stanky Chops, Richard Ramirez, being attacked by the angry mob. They weren't fucking letting that guy out. They weren't letting him go.
Yeah, no.
They were gonna fucking get him no matter what. And they did.
That's right. They did.
Ugh, Stanky Chops. Nasty. All right.
Yuck.
Gross.
So what happened to old Dr. Knox, though?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Right. So the public wanted him tried for his part in the black market cadaver trading, but Burke saved him by saying the doctor never knew how the cadavers died.
I mean, he didn't for sure know.
He knew.
I'm sure he knew, but like they never actually said, hey, I just murdered this person.
But with his trying to hide and conceal,
he
that
knew
one
for sure.
He knew. Dr. Knox did move away from Edinburgh since he couldn't stay after he completely messed up his reputation as a doctor of anatomy. So he moved to London and kind of started over. I think he just became professor or something.
All right.
Now it comes time for the execution of Burke. And of course, he was hanged.
Yeah.
He was hanged January 28th, 1829, publicly in front of 25,000 people, they say.
Holy shit.
But of course, for a price, because nothing is free.
I am one of those weirdos that I would totally go to a public hanging.
Yeah.
Especially if it was somebody like that.
Yeah.
I've got it in me.
You probably do. I don't want to watch it because I know it's not easy.
I know it's going to be bad.
It's bad. It takes a lot longer than people think.
But like, yeah.
So they were paying like 5 to 20 shillings to watch from wherever they were. So if you got a closer view, you paid a little bit more.
Front row seats.
Yes. But here's the kicker. This is the funny part. It's not really funny, but
he didn't die, did he?
No, he died. They donated his body to science.
Motherfucker!
So I guess what comes around goes around, and it's true in this case because he was turned over to the next anatomy doctor professor.
It is quite
and many of the anatomy students took pieces of his skin as souvenirs.
Ew.
And do you remember I read that book about bookbinding with human skin?
Blech.
Part of his skin was used to bind books and card holders.
Wow.
So he is part of those few books
that are probably in some scary library somewhere.
Yeah. And Dr. Monroe, who oversaw the dissection, he took a quill pen, because that's what they had back then.
Yeah.
And he wrote, "This is written with the blood of W.M. Burke, who was hanged at Edinburgh. This blood was taken from his head." People were messed up.
People are really fucked up still to this day.
Still, always.
I love it. People are so fucked up these days. I'm like, have you not paid attention to history? Because like they've always been really fucking fucked up.
Gross. I mean, have you heard of the Blood Eagle?
People are sick. The Blood Eagle?
Yes.
Don't tell me.
Oh, it's a Viking tradition. You should look it up.
Oh, yeah, I probably know it.
I'm sure you know. But anyways, his skeleton was also preserved and is on display at Surgeons Hall in Edinburgh University next to his death mask and Hare's life mask.
God, the death masks.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
They had to mold his face.
Yeah.
after this case and several others, they enacted the Anatomy Act of 1832, which gave doctors, anatomy professors, and medical students better access to cadavers for research.
Okay.
Yeah, it helped end the illegal body snatching black market.
Mm-hmm.
Grave robbers could go back to just robbing graves for valuables.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I kind of want to sell my body to, well, I just want to donate my body to a body farm, actually.
Yeah, Potter's Field.
You know, that'd be really cool.
Yeah,
Do some
you
good.
can't sell your body, but you can donate it.
Yeah. Do some good for, you know, science.
Yeah, it's actually pretty neat.
I mean, my ashes aren't going to do anybody any good.
No,
I don't have
I
any
could
kids.
go into the ground. I could go and create trees.
Yeah.
Bodies
Oh, yes.
could become trees.
Yes, I like
Create
that one.
oxygen.
There's a lot of cool things you can do now.
There's a lot of better things.
Well, and even getting cremated, ashes are really good for the environment. It really is a thing.
Correct. Yeah, you could be put into diatomaceous earth.
Yep. Oh, use me as a bath for my chickens.
Yep.
Gross. That was the worst
we come
I've
from the
ever
earth.
said in my life. Use my ashes for the chickens' bath.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
So lastly, the word burking or to burk. I knew you'd get a laugh out of that one.
Yeah.
It was coined into the English language, and it means to smother a victim or to commit an anatomy murder.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There's also a messed up little poem that was created, which goes. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Should I start snapping?
Yes. Be my we're at, what is it? Open mic. We're at an open mic right now.
Hell yeah.
It says,
carry on.
Up the close and doon the stair, but and ben we Burke and Hare. Burke's the butcher, Hare's the thief, knocks the boy that buys the beef.
Ugh.
Yeah, I said it's a messed up little poem.
That's so gross. Okay, but has anybody seen So I Married an Axe Murderer?
Yes,
It's
of course.
Word.
Oh, yes.
Wasn't that movie?
It was, and they were all doing their little snaps.
Yeah. Does anybody know what open mic night is anymore? Is that a thing?
We have our comedy club does open mic nights, but I don't know if there's like I don't think so. Remember ours? We have
yeah.
Reds.
Coffee shop was like the bomb. That was the place to be.
But that was like the day of the
90s.
Good coffee shop. Like everybody was at the coffee shops. And it wasn't just for coffee. It was
the place to go.
Out.
That's where you went to literally hang out.
Yeah.
And we welcomed all people. All of the people.
All of the people.
Oh man, that was a fucking fucked up case.
Threw a lot of history at you again. I've been on a kick of history.
Yeah,
Sorry,
man.
guys.
No, you should be
it's good.
You should be doing historical stuff. Not a lot of people cover those kinds of things. So
yeah, I hope everybody learned a little bit about our messed up history.
Yeah, it's really fucked up.
This is not the stuff of school learning.
No. Oh God, no. They would never teach you that.
No.
They should, but they didn't. No.
Instead, they're trying to ban books out here.
Oh God, yeah. What the fuck? Okay.
Like,
yeah.
These books have been read for hundreds of years. Just leave them alone.
Yeah.
Our
what the
history
fuck?
is there to help us learn to be better or different.
Some
It's
schools are taking the
history is history.
books that I read and loved and helped
Mhm.
shape my brain into a good person
Yeah.
from fourth fucking grade, and they're taking them away. So it's like, what?
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand. Anyway,
We're supposed to have our history so that we can learn and grow from
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So we're not supposed to block it out of our
But not just,
future generations' lives.
But not
we
just
need to know
that.
about it.
but also we need, a lot of the books are not even historical. A lot of them they're banning are made up. They're fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're
You
just,
know, don't take that away from people.
yeah.
Anyway, off my pedestal. Until next time, till.
For now, get your cup where cups are given,
Word.
sold, or bought, or
Do it.
do it.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Crime, Coffee, and Crafts. If you love our podcast, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. This helps us more than you know. If you really love us and want to support us, go to our website at www.crimecoffeeandcrafts.com. From there, you can join our Patreon, shop our merch, and find us on social media.